Recently, Donald Trump has managed to turn off different sections of his base, just time after time after time after time. A couple days ago, I told you the story about how Donald Trump has, of course, angered the pro-life wing of the Republican Party, basically the forced birth wing of the Republican Party. Lila Rose, a Live Nation activist, came out and said that she can't support Donald Trump because he does not support a federal abortion ban. And a lot of other conservatives also rejected Donald Trump because he won't support the nationwide ban that they want to put in place. Well, just a couple days after that, Donald Trump got on Truth Social and talked about his new home state of Florida down here. And we actually have an initiative on the ballot this year, an amendment, Amendment 3, that would legalize recreational marijuana here in the state of Florida. And Donald Trump, shockingly, came out on Saturday on Truth Social supporting this. Here's what he said. Whether people like it or not, this will happen through the approval of the voters, so it should be done correctly. We need the state legislature to responsibly create laws that prohibit the use of it in public spaces so we do not smell marijuana everywhere we go, like we do in many of the Democrat-run cities. But he did say Florida should not ruin lives and waste taxpayer dollars arresting adults with personal amounts of the drug on them, and no one should, quote, grieve a loved one because they died from marijuana laced with other things. But he came out in support. He's like, okay, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's do it smart. You know, we don't want to smell it everywhere we go. I mean, honestly, even though it's not legal, you can still smell it a lot of places. And I live in a deep red part of Florida. So even down here, yeah, it's a popular thing. But Trump finally came around and said, all right, you know what? Let's do it. It's on the ballot. It's going to drive people to get out to vote. We may as well embrace it because it's going to happen. So if we're going to do it, let's do it correctly. Honestly, that is a very smart and mature position for Donald Trump to take. And I don't say that lightly. I don't like to give the guy credit, but you do have to give credit where credit is due. This is an issue where Donald Trump is saying the right thing. Just like with, I won't support a national abortion ban. But then he says the bad thing, which is, but I support states, restricting it, which is killing women across the country. But on this issue, he is right. So, of course, whenever Donald Trump occasionally, rarely does the right thing, Republicans freak the hell out. And Trump is now facing massive backlash in his home state of Florida from Republicans who do not want to see Amendment 3 passed. They want it voted down. Let's get it the hell out of here. Not gonna happen. Here's the thing. Donald Trump cannot afford to lose any support. And I'm not just talking about nationwide. He definitely cannot afford to lose support nationwide. But he sure as hell cannot afford to lose any support in the state of Florida. Yes, he is ahead of Harris in Florida by like 5-6 points, I think. He has a solid lead at this moment. But that lead could evaporate like that. And here's why. First of all, obviously, Amendment 3. It's on the ballot. Legalizing recreational marijuana here in the state is going to drive more people to the polls. And I think Trump believes it's probably going to drive more people from the left to the polls than it does people on the right. But it's not just Amendment 3. Because the very next amendment on the state ballot would overturn the state's 6-week abortion ban. So the voters will also be given the opportunity to reverse Florida's oppressive and restrictive ban on abortions. That's going to drive even more people to the polls than the marijuana initiative, and it's definitely going to drive far more left-leaning people to the polls here in Florida. And independents who do not want to see their rights stripped away. And to be honest, Republicans are probably going to vote against it too. Not in huge numbers, but in big enough numbers. So Trump is now trying to hedge his bets. He's trying to talk about Amendment 3 so that he doesn't have to talk about Amendment 4, which is the abortion one, which he's already screwed the pooch on by having a position that runs contrary to his hardcore forced birth base. But he can't afford to lose any support. If any of these Republicans, whether it's on the issue of Amendment 3 or Amendment 4, genuinely turn against Donald Trump for this, it could be over for him. If by some weird reason Donald Trump cannot carry the state of Florida, this election is over. I mean, Florida used to be the most sought after swing state in the nation, but starting in the 2016 election, this state got more red. And every subsequent year after that, especially after COVID, it exploded. We got more and more and more and more red. So every year we're getting more registered Republicans, fewer registered Democrats, but there's still enough no party affiliated voters here in the state of Florida to possibly swing it one way or the other, even though Republicans have a 1 million voter registration edge over the Democrats. Trump wants to make sure he's on the right side of these issues that are going to drive those moderates and independents to the polls. Because if he comes out against both things, and the moderates and the independents want those things, then they're not going to vote for him. They're going to vote for that other nice lady on the ballot who also would support these things. Because if Trump becomes president, he could do stuff at the federal level that may kind of kill these state initiatives. I know legally he can't because, 10th Amendment and whatnot. But let's face it, the Constitution has never stopped Donald Trump from doing things in the past that he's not allowed to do. So I don't think he's going to care too much about states' rights. But he is in a sticky wicket now. He has to support these things to make sure he gets those moderates and independents down here in Florida. But by supporting it, he's turning away some of his conservative base. So what I think he's doing is making a, honestly, rather mature calculation here. Are these conservatives in Florida really going to not vote for me? Are they really? Is that going to happen? No. But the moderates and independents would. So for the first time in this campaign, Donald Trump, again, made a smart decision to play to the moderates, to play to the independents, saying, hey, I support this thing you guys like. And that other thing, it's states' rights. I'm not going to touch it, whatever. Y'all pass it, you pass it. You don't, you don't. I'm not going to do it nationally. So he is trying to win those people over because I do think deep down he knows that all of these little MAGA revolts we have seen, and we've seen a lot of them, folks, they got pissed at him for picking J.D. Vance, pissed at him for lying about his knowledge of Project 2025. They're pissed about his stance on abortion. They're now pissed about his stance on marijuana. They're pissed about all of it. But I think he knows the same as you and I, that when those people head to the polls in November, they're still going to vote for him even if they're mad. So he can afford to piss them off multiple times, as he already has, even in just the last week, because their anger means nothing to him. And let that, by the way, be a lesson to all you angry MAGA people out there. Why would he do this? He does it because he knows he's got you in the palm of his hand. And no matter how mad you get, you're never going to turn against him. If I were you, I would feel pretty insulted by that. Hi, everyone. This here is little Athena. And Athena would like to know why you haven't subscribed to Fair and Balanced yet. So please, don't let Athena down. Subscribe today.